that just added a whole different oh boy.
All right, we're live, which means what? We need the intro going, huh?
Drop it.
Time for the intro.
Welcome to Football and the Kitchen Sink. Get ready for in-depth conversation from the world of high school, college, and pro football, plus some insight about the rest of the world. All this, along with some fun and humor along the way. Pull up a chair, grab a coffee or a beer, and join us. It's Football and the Kitchen Sink. Here are your hosts, Coach Schuman and Coach T. Pascali.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent day.
So we were both 1-0 pretty easily on that one, but not exactly how we expected it to go.
No.
Right?
Definitely
not. You mentioned in the pre-show that losing Sherman was a big deal.
Yeah, I think.
How big a deal do you think it was?
I mean, we said from the beginning that Ohio State was kind of playing from behind to start, and for them to now lose, their horse, their running back on I believe it was the first play, right?
Yes, first play of the game. What was the injury anyway? Did they say collarbone or something?
I don't know. I didn't even see any reports after. It was kind of like he became the forgotten guy.
Forgotten guy. Yeah.
But at the same time, we knew they were kind of going to be playing from behind that way anyway, and then to lose that guy that early, I think it just set a whole nother tone. Even as a play caller, or a coach right away, the first, now your entire playbook that you have been planning for the entire week now either gets cut down or gets changed. Now you're putting guys in different spots. What do you have to do? It was a bad start, a bad omen from the beginning. And look, they stayed with him for a little bit. They exchanged some punches back and forth, but then, I think the changing and the big part where you kind of realized oh boy, things are going to happen, I think was when Ohio State was driving and they got the targeting penalty for them. The targeting penalty to which the Alabama guy got ejected. And then the very next play, I think he missed a wide open fade route in the corner of the end zone. And then ultimately they got to settle for 3. And I think from that point on, you were kind of, they were playing, playing from behind.
Well, Bama fumbled early. Big Pete's waiting to hear today. I'm sure he wanted to hear the breakdown. Bama fumbled early. They got the turnover. They tied it up. The thing I got from the game, and it was really Smith that kind of set the stage in it. You never felt threatened, even though it was tied, right, in this game. You
knew they were coming back and scoring the next drive. Yeah,
it just was. And that first drive, now a lot of times first drives are set up for what the defense can then prepare for after they see it. But I felt like watching that first drive, it was almost too easy for Bama. That's what was surprising.
Yeah.
And Ohio State
it was just
it was almost what I kind of said, which I didn't expect to be. I was a little short on the points. They scored 52, I think. Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Troy was almost right on the points. Closer than I expected. And then, but what did they score? 24?
28, 24?
24, 20, yeah. And so,
yeah, 24.
So I think that part was kind of in range. They hung the first half, which we talked about that they really need to get up in the first half at some point to put some pressure on Bama, and it just never materialized. Devontae Smith, I think that's how you say it, Devontae Smith, was just so dominant and so elusive, and they used him
all over.
And I'm just going to try and get some.
And look, you can go into that game. We talked about it. It looked like they didn't But if I'm going into that game as a defensive coordinator, look, like this guy just won the Heisman. We got to take this guy away in some way, shape, or form. Now, okay, that's how we're going in. That's our mentality as a defense. We know, okay, what's the counter to that? Okay, an offensive coordinator's counter is, look, if they're going to do something to my main guy, well, then I'm going to move him, right? So they can't get a beat on it. I'm going to move him around, put him in different spots, which is exactly what Sark did. And, did it to perfection. I mean, you're talking 12 catches in the first half. He didn't even play in the second half.
No,
I mean, look, he had, I think, 2 catches on the first series. And these aren't just like, speed outs. I mean, my man's catching 15-yard passes going down the field. And
Waddle was nothing really more than a decoy. He was hurt, so he was just a decoy. So I mean, if you're cool with this, I like to pull up some of at least Devonta Smith's clips. And what I thought was really cool was, interesting more than cool. They always use him all over the place, which is his versatility, and he has, I think, unique speed and quickness for a guy who looks long and loping. He's not long and loping. No, he's lean. Guy who looks like
I think he only weighs 170 pounds.
Right. He's got a physicality and a burst to him that is unique. But I
heard the comparison today to Marvin Harrison.
Yeah, that's what I was just in the discussion earlier.
And you can tell he's lean.
Marvin Harrison is the exact. Someone said it was a cross between Marvin Harrison and somebody else.
Does it transition? My question is, look, Heisman Trophy, 15 catches, or catches are 12 catches is 12 catches in national championship at a highest level of college football play. Does that transition to the league?
I think his skills do, because I think that you're not going to be able to.
I don't know if you can get a jam on him.
Again, the slot is so important. So I think he could play outside, and it's going to be hard for him for you to get hands on him. And then I think you can line him on a slot, which is what Sark does a ton of this, and moves him back and forth. Yeah. Where the guy who has to cover him, if you're playing zone on him, he's just going to sit down in the zone somewhere. If you're playing man on him, he's in a position that he's already moving, and he's probably faster than you. So you got a problem. Let's look at. I'm going to see if I can get this. Sometimes I have a problem with this one.
Favorite part about that guy? He's returning punts. Yeah, he's running down on punt coverage. He's the gunner on punt. How many Heisman Trophy guys are playing specials other than being a mainstream returner? If that's that guy, you know what I mean?
Mind blowing.
I mean, you can tell that he is a full-blown athlete. He's going to help your program. I haven't heard one negative thing about him off the field, as far as being a person, a competitor. Every person has lobbied for him as being one of the best complete football players they've ever been around, which is, phenomenal.
So let's look at, like, this was early on. So they motioned, just kind of because this is not on here. They motioned him. Okay. They motioned the other receiver into the slot, and then they ran bubble screen. Okay, so just to get eye candy as to what they were in, which was zone. Okay?
But here you go. Like, look, something little, simple. Get them the ball and go make plays.
So what you essentially have, and this is what makes it difficult for Ohio State here. So Ohio State likes to play zone, and the tough part when you have this situation, which basically becomes a 3-on-2 because of the space differential. Now, you are worried about one of these guys going vertical, so you're kind of in the bind, okay? Right, so and over the top move. And you have, if you can kind of see here, the running back with the flash action, okay, is freezing all of these guys. Now,
right, the linebackers from pursuing.
Now, the guy who could pursue it inside out is the defensive end, but he's tasked with, on the zone read, probably just closing down and making sure there's no pull, right? So there you go. So that's what you got going on there. Now you have, it's 3-on-3, which is a loss, because if these guys, which they do, this is what makes Bama different. their receivers, and this goes to, if there's any high school person watching this, learn to block as a receiver. It'll make you way more effective in everything else you do. Okay? These guys do a great job, and 8 had a bunch of catches in the game. Okay, 19 is the tight end, how do you say, Billingsley, I think it is. All right, so here it is. They stack, okay, and they are banking that he's going to beat this safety. Okay, so
the terrible angle.
Terrible angle. First of all, he should have stacked here, right?
Right. I don't know why he's inside.
He should be stacked. So if he comes outside, he chases, makes the tackle, cuts back.
Now, look,
but it's still going to be a problem. It's still going to be a problem.
Because you're getting the ball. You're getting the ball in this guy's hands with 2 to 3 yards of green grass before anybody is going to collision him or even get a hand on him, and you're banking on him making a guy miss. You know what I mean? Like, that's going to happen. So you're already winning right now.
So here he is. He obviously bad angle by the safety. Now the corner has to make a play, or which is like the nickel back. I guess it might have been a backer, but
fold over the top and whatnot. And that's and as a receiver, like we said, understand something as blocking. Like as a receiver, you're going to have more opportunities as a blocker than you are catching the football. So if you can do that aspect of your game really well, and look, it doesn't take a pancake block or anything on the edge. Just get a hand on him, make this guy blink, get in front of him, and now allow your playmakers to just run. And that's exactly what happens here.
And so here was the flaw, I thought, defensively. And I'm guessing maybe they kind of went the same. We talked about this, the same defensive philosophy that worked against Clemson, which was shut down the run, and Clemson wanted to establish the run. And I think, we talked about this, that Sark just looked at the second half and realized once Clemson started chucking it, they did that the whole game. They probably would have. Right.
They had a lot more success.
They would have won, right? Which it's kind of like, especially in college, you're used to doing both if you can. The NFL, they'll just do whatever.
Yeah, they'll do whatever to win the game.
Yeah, if they got to throw 100 times, they'll throw 100 times.
Right.
So his NFL experience, I think, really works in this situation, right? Because you have those caliber of players.
Right.
And if you go and say, hey, listen, I know we kind of are balanced most of the time. I know my philosophy is run the ball.
National championship. Let's go win the game.
Let's go win the game. Take it to them right away until they stop it. And then we can go.
They did.
They did. So the first disadvantage is this. Tight end Billingsley, who is an athlete. I mean, I can't. It's the way he looks. You like that's a receiver, but he's a tight end. So you got they're matching a linebacker over a tight end who is essentially, because from a personnel matchup standpoint, that people want to know, why is there a linebacker in the game? Billingsley is the reason why Ohio State has a linebacker in the game. It has to do something with what they're doing personnel wise. Okay. The problem is Billingsley is as strong as a tight end to block. Maybe not as strong as the true tight ends like Ruckert, but close enough. But he's athletic like a wide receiver. So when this personnel comes in, this personnel is a loss right now before anything starts. Sark knows this. Everybody up top knows it. This is a loss for Ohio State, and the thought process is, how can we just exploit this as much as possible for as long as possible?
Right.
Really?
And it's just a matter of personnel groupings. You leave that guy on the field and do what you got to do with him which now forces Ohio State to leave a linebacker in the game, and you're winning.
Right. So the other approach could have been, and maybe they don't have this guy, right? This is probably their more athletic linebacker, maybe a guy, but from a speed standpoint, you would hope that they could have matched a safety.
Not going to happen.
Right. And I guess
it's just a personnel thing.
It's a problem for them, right? So,
at the end of the day, it's a Jimmy and a Joe problem, right?
The question is, this is what a lot of people want to know is, in the second half, which actually knocked Devonta Smith out with that one play, they started to match up and bring in more defensive backs. And you can see it here.
They lined up in a base 4-3 look the entire this is what they lined up in all day.
It's just, it's not, in the Big Ten.
That works.
This is not
because
good.
your D linemen are better than,
And I think they were duped by Clemson, working against Clemson, I guess. Is that a fair assessment? I think it worked against Clemson. They figured they probably in their mind think Clemson and
but I'm
Bama.
telling you, like, once they score 14 within the first 6 minutes of the game, I'm saying, okay, this is not going to work.
So here's another example of moving Devonta Smith around, right? Okay. They're learning two things on this, right? On these plays. Right away, QB is looking at, for people, anyone who is interested in learning some football here, the QB is watching this corner. And I'll put my cursor there because I need a telestrator thing so I could do this better. But watching this corner, okay, he's trying to get if this is a man situation or it is some sort of zone situation, okay? Now, as he drops off, all right, basically what you have here – oh, gosh, how did I lose this? Here we go. Good. So basically what they're doing is some sort of combo coverage, and he just gives it off here just to establish some level of run. They're blitzing two guys, and they have three linebackers, so seven total backers, seven total front men, and they couldn't stop the run there. This is just athletes. This guy can barely run. I don't know how he can even get open on this. But this next play, which will be just crossing route. I mean, this is just matchup problem. All right, so let's get here. We go here.
Then you got this freak in the backfield.
Yeah, because you have to pick your poison, right? I want to get to. Let me just. I want to kind of. By the way, Jeremy Rucker, I like him a lot. I think he's going to go pretty high. All right, so next drive. Let me see if this is it here. Let's go on back. Let's look at this. Boot action. Okay. So this is later on, right? Similar play becomes a touchdown for them too, right? Mm-hmm. They're running what you would call this like a sail route, right? He's kind of running across the space.
Yeah, it's not like
deep cross.
He's not sticking his foot in the ground and coming hard across on a dig. He's kind of just, gradually getting there, whether it be above the linebackers in front of the safeties. Here you see this, safety bite, and now he's running behind him, wide open with space all over.
Right. So here's an example where it looks like they have a nickel back in, right? It looks like they have two backers and a nickel back, okay, to try and combat the pass, more of the passing game. But from a personnel standpoint, it's so interesting because now they put this guy in a situation he's not comfortable with, right? He's in the box now.
Right, because now he's got to be a linebacker.
By bringing him in motion, they put him in the box. He got play action. This guy's he's not used to this. Let's see how he's all out of sorts. The nickelback. Yeah.
He's looking for that. The Weddle coming across to go into the flats. He pulls up to block, and now he's kind of in no man land. He's covering grass. There's nobody even there. You're wasting a guy playing nothing, and then bam, come across the field, and here you go.
So that's the issue and I guess the dilemma that Ohio State has. You see it in those two plays there. They go with the linebackers. They're at a disadvantage. Billingsley is underrated in what he gives them from a personal standpoint. One of the things that you've seen with I call them the modern tight ends, where they can
do both.
Yeah, they could do both almost equally well, and is tough because if you bring a linebacker type in for the run, then if they do anything designed in the passing game, you're in a bind. You bring in the safety and you say, okay, you know what? We're not going to let him throw. Now what Bama does, Sark does, which is so great about his offense, is he knows that he's like, hey, DB's in the game. Cool. We're going to suck him up on the run, which he's definitely not going to be comfortable in doing, but he's going to be very nervous about the fact that he's got to be forceful on the run. And they probably told him, like, hey, you're going to have to play the run like a backer if they come, they have two backs.
You got to come downhill.
Right. So now that gets in someone's head, and he's trying, I'm sure he's tough as nails, but in this situation, it's an awkward situation for him. And now they get an extra person that's going to be open because they have one less guy really in coverage because, like you said, he's in on covering grass.
Right.
This play is a fantastic play.
Yeah, great play.
Great play.
And can't be done by most, to be honest. You know what I mean? Not everybody is going to have this guy on their team.
You need a fast guy.
People think this is just a simple, hey, anybody can do that, just whatever. No, dude, you're talking about a guy who's going to be basically coming in an orbit motion, sticking his foot in the ground, and then getting back outside in space. That takes a lot of quick twitch ability and whatnot to make that play. You know what I mean? I mean, this is not just and then you're talking about the finishing aspect. He just hits the gas and runs right to that pylon. There's no doubt in his mind, once he catches this ball, I'm going to the pylon, and nobody's catching him. He's got the leverage plus the speed. It's game over. So
from film, okay, they probably know that they're gonna man-to-man him.
Right. Well, you're thinking about it, right? As an offensive coordinator, we're inside the 10-yard line. What's the coverage? Most defensive coordinators run inside there, man-to-man with that orbit. You know what I mean? As soon as he goes, you see the corners start to fly across, diagnose man-to-man, game over. Look, caught in traffic no matter what. You send, the inside receiver across to even cause more congestion and confusion that if the corner does see it, he's still going to have a problem getting back going the other way because there's guys in the area. Look at all that traffic in there. You got three Ohio State players.
So think about and as a defense coordinator, you'll appreciate this. The bigger issue here is, so if you're in zero, okay, the safety is covering Billingsley, the tight end, right?
Right.
They're in two-man, okay? Right. And because they're in two-man, who has to come out and cover? Well, it's a nickelback, but who quote unquote is coming and covering their tight end, a quote unquote linebacker, but for them it's a nickelback, right? So you're chasing the number two. So the corner's going with Devonta. He's all the way caught across. The nickelback is chasing the tight end. The safeties, okay, are over the top in case there's a run so they could fill. And now you got a situation where backers are caught inside, safeties are caught inside, and the guys that would be in coverage, quote unquote, right, are caught inside because of the orbit motion and the tight end going across. And obviously, this only works, if your guy is faster.
You're not exactly thinking this is what play is coming out of this. You're not expecting an orbit motion where a guy sticks his foot in the ground and then comes back the same way. You know what I'm saying? You're just not – that's not in a normal play call. Unless you have seen this before, this is going to be something. This is more of you're hoping that if it does happen, your players on the field realize it and have a sense of what's going on and make a play.
See, for me, I would want a rotation here. Okay, I would want to rotate guys. So if this guy in rotation ran
normally you're going to set this up.
But if you ran the jet, you have someone out here. So what the issue is with either A, not a rotation, okay, or B, in zone, you have if you can handle rotation, but the routes are going to be a problem, right? So you almost would have to have some sort of rotation in order to defend this, but they don't. So what happens is guys end up chasing across. I mean, literally, they probably could have went to some of these other guys that are crossing too because they're banging. Everyone's banging into each other. But
everywhere. Yeah, but I mean, look at the middle, like at the top of your screen there. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Ohio State guys, and you have 1, 2, 3 Alabama guys. You have 7 defenders to 3 Alabama guys. Why? Because you're expecting certain things to happen, and then one guy comes this wide open. That's
absolutely. I mean, Chris said my speed is better than yours. That's correct, Chris. Yeah. So now my speed is better than yours.
I have to now put him in place to use that.
this becomes stealing.
Boom.
And I have to say, this safety did
Great read.
an amazing job reacting.
Yeah,
but look at number 8 behind him.
Right.
Literally, obviously this is a pre-designed to throw it out here, but what then do you see up top coming off of this?
Okay, coming down hard. Just get him the ball and let him flip one out.
A crossing route all the way across the number 8 is going to be wide open, right? So and probably
Devontae and have him throw it.
I mean, it's just look at this. You got 2 guys wide open.
Look, he could have threw it to the crossing route in the corner, and he was still wide open. He had 2 options here.
Absolutely, that's what I was just saying. So so that's what's interesting about it. Now. I thought Fields played well. Obviously, looks like he was still kind of beat up.
Yeah,
but that was the turnover, which I thought was a potential turning point for them. Right. Which, by the way, defensively, I thought they should have did more of this. Okay, well, I want to get to this. This was actually a really good call. I think they needed more of this. Now, obviously Alabama's good, so it's easy to just pick it apart. But and be right. Now they like to play this hot. This is like their favorite. Where they kind of react to the receivers, and then they can bring a guy 5 who's like kind of is like a more at like a safety / linebacker, more athletic guy coming off the edge, comes free. Billingsley doesn't get there.
Right. He doesn't get to chip him.
He doesn't get there. But it looks like it was a similar kind of play action to what they scored on earlier without the orbit, where they're trying to do a little more of that kind of boot crossing route stuff. Took too long and didn't get the block, right? So I thought the more they could have did some of this stuff. The problem is that now those guys are on islands, and later on they hit that for a long post, right? Where that safety drops back.
Yep.
So this kid ran hard, Teague.
Big dude.
Yeah, but I think Sermon's nimbleness was missed.
Correct.
Not that they could have ran all day anyway, just because of the fact that, like, the way the course of the game was going, you had to score, obviously. That was always going to be a problem.
You had to score, and it's just like, field goals weren't going to get it done.
I love this, like the back shoulder, man-to-man back shoulder. That's just my guy. That's just my guy. Again, with the motion, this was a great play. Okay. They love to use Najee Harris in the passing game. I think that's what makes him.
He can do both.
Yeah, equally well. Runs.
You know what? I would say he can do both equally well. He can do both.
Not now.
On a high level. You can get guys that can do both. You can do both at a high level.
I will. 10 minutes. 10 minutes, buddy. So then he gets. I love how they do this over and over again, where they release him. They get action. They get motion with one of the receivers. I forgot what 8's last name was. What was 8? He caught a bunch of balls in the game. But motion carrying some of the defense away, coming back to receiver. And, I mean, he does the rest once he gets it. There you go. All right, here it is. That's great little play. Throwback. Blind throwback. I love it. They love that outside zone, inside zone stuff.
Yep.
They do it well. I mean, they do it well. Ejection there. Definitely rightfully. Ruckert's good, man. He's a good player. I mean,
big dude. Big dude as well.
Big dude.
Great hit, though.
All right, so let's move on here.
Boom.
I mean, that's pitch and catch. Just try. I don't want to go through everything, but I want to. This is just straight. So this is one of the things that did confuse me. That when he was out wide, like this is tough because so they have
what are you gonna do?
They have a tight end in the game. They must have a tight end in the game or H back.
Sometimes
so they have an extra backer here. I mean, it's just this part is tough because what do you do with the safety? See, this is why I think that they should have just rolled the dice with a 6-box because this is just impossible for the cornerback. I mean, this is definitely not putting them in a position to succeed. Am I wrong?
Right.
2nd and 4, which is a free down, basically.
Yep.
It's a free down. I don't know. Definitely not in a position to succeed here. Goes vertical. Safety is playing deep center, so there's no way he can help out.
Absolutely not. Never going to get there.
You know, it's interesting. I wonder. I'm curious how Ohio State calls what their style of like how they call their defense is like. Is it pure personnel based or is it formation based? You know what I'm saying? Like formation, like you kind of always lean one way or the other. Like if they have these people in, I want. If they have these people in, I want these people in, or these are the formations and these are the plays, and this is how we're adjusting to it. Like, and you kind of have to be all in on lean. You have to be all in, but lean one way or the other. And if your style is more personnel based, you can get caught in a lot of these situations against a really good team. And again, like it worked against Clemson. So, you know, you learn like now Saban, what does Saban have? And maybe even Sark, those guys have that national championship experience to know that game is like people are playing at a whole nother level, right?
Right.
When they get in that game. So Ohio State, who was there with Urban Meyer, Coach Day, who's a great coach, but this is his first trip there. So, you know, you're really seeing like Bama at their best for the first time. And that has to be somewhat sobering, you know, because you're planning and you're using your personnel and you know, you might have the second best roster in the country, but it's not yet at the level that these guys have. Not in all the spots. I mean, who's had 3 of the 5 top guys in the Heisman voting all on the same team? I mean, that's crazy.
Right. But that goes into your prep work, into your, you know, not just on the field coaching, off the field stuff. Like that's where you know, if you're doing everything consistent, you know, those pieces fall into place. And this is how you get rewarded, you know?
So this is interesting. So, right. So this looks like, yeah, there we go. So we got, I guess they just don't have the wiry guy to chase. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what it looks like.
They don't have that guy.
They don't have any wiry. That's how I would describe Smith. Like he's this wiry guy that's just somehow strong as an ox, even though he's wiry. Like, you know, you occasionally have those kind of. Actually, you know, AJ was kind of like that last year for us. Like even in a high school level, right? Like he's wiry. And you're looking at him, you're like, hey, he can't be that strong, you know, like,
right.
But he just is. And here's a good example. This is such a simple rollout. You got a clear out post, and this is just pre-designed dump off. My man's faster than you. How do you defend against this? So playing 2-man, they played 2-man the first time on the goal line here, right? So let's see what exactly they're definitely in man. This guy looks like he's also he must have came across a motion, came back. So they're in man. It looks like it's man free.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it is, man free. So now instead of being a 2-man, I guess they figure, let's get one more guy on a better guy in coverage by going man free versus 2-man where you have like your worst guys on coverage. But the 4 down. So here's my thing. The 4 down is almost a disadvantage here.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have that big old guy in the middle that could play that nose that could completely clog a gap for the inside zone stuff. So because obviously they play a 4-3 all the time, so they're not recruiting that guy. They're recruiting a 1 technique, you know what I mean, or a shade, which is a slightly different guy, you know what I mean, a little more athletic. And the problem in this is just that from an angle standpoint, you just got too many D linemen and not enough athletes. It's tough. It's just tough.
Like I said, at the end of the day, sometimes it's just Jimmy's and Joe's. I don't care what you do.
I wonder if this will change Day's philosophy a little bit defensively, because
maybe when they play them, because he's still going to get away with it for his entire season. Yes,
but you know what? If he has a 3-4 front, he'll still win those games in a Big Ten, in my opinion. And what have we talked about that a lot of teams are going to, right? They're adaptive fronts.
Hybrid.
So I'm a 40 base, but I'm really, I have the 30 front guys on my team. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are the guys I can use in this situation. Maybe, these 3 are fine out of the 3 of the 4. These 3 out of the 4 are fine for the 30 if we need to go to that. That's the problem with what's going on here. There's zero way for them to adapt. What can they do? There's nothing they can do.
No.
That's what I do love about the 30 front. It allows you to play the 4-3. You know what I'm saying? Without changing personnel. It's just that weak side defensive end, if you have to roll a guy down, is your outside linebacker, who in a lot of cases, okay, especially in college, he's still 6'3", 235.
Right.
He's not a small guy. He's not 255, 260, but the weak side guy, he's so fast. I just think that, it's a little more adaptive, which is why so many NFL teams play it, by the way.
Right. They just go right to it.
Yeah, because they get a rundown, they just walk the guy down. It's 4-3, no problem, right?
Yep. Here we go.
Yeah, like what's who's the DN from Washington? If he had to stand up in 3-4, he could do it easily. If he had to stand up and just drop, no problem.
Yeah. His name is pissing me off.
From Ohio State, actually.
Chase Young.
Yeah. All right. Here was the cross. This is just.
And this was the one that everybody in the media is going crazy about. How can you have a linebacker covering number 3 down the shoe and blah blah blah? Like,
well, let's look at it. Let's look at what they're playing here. Let's see if we can figure it out. That's the fun of this, right? All right. So this guy is like like he's an outside linebacker, but he's like he's the one that made the sack earlier.
Right.
He's like kind of like a strong safety guy. Okay. So there's no nickel in the game. These are safeties, corners, faster backer, I guess maybe strong safety type, but he's a downhill guy.
Right.
Okay. And these are obviously true backers. So we're in a situation where we are in, boom, some sort of zone looking inside, cover 4 maybe. No, it's 3. Cover 3 all the way.
3.
So it's 3 all the way because everyone's rolled down. Cover 3 with This is why the questions come up. Cover 3 with 1, 2, 3, 4. So you know who this fourth guy is, right? This is what makes me think that their whole thing is a personnel thing, not as much.
Yeah, because that's the tight end.
Because that's the tight end, which keeps this guy in the game. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the truth is, in this situation, and they couldn't get away with it with the 4-3, is this should be a DB and this should be a DB against Alabama.
Right.
And they would try to run zone.
That's what you have to do against Alabama. So you call it your Bama package.
Well, you were trying to win the national championship, right? Like, these guys are high-level coaches. You know, like, they're obviously great coaches. They wouldn't be at Ohio State or Alabama, these coordinators. But it doesn't mean that they are comfortable maneuvering something within a week, right? That's the part that's difficult. And that's the part that has to happen against this team, who is obviously, out of this world. And I don't know if it's capable of happening, even if you went to. So let's say you move this front here to a 3-4, and these two guys on the outside are maybe nickel guys. Now you're in a 5 box, and this guy would have to be a jumbo so he can control it, and you can come off the edge here. I don't know if they have that guy. So now you got this cover 3 with the linebacker is dropping into the hole, the short hole. You know what I'm saying? Because the safety is going way back deep. I mean, that's just not
right. And all it takes is number 3 to run that nice seam route right across. And the second he sees that safety flying by, he goes right underneath. And for that safety to put his foot in the ground and flip his hips and get back there, not happening. Not with a ball like that.
This one, this is just.
Look, you see that safety, you won. Put the ball in a spot where nobody's going to get to, and I'm gone.
As soon as he turns and runs, it's over. I mean,
right. Good night. Ball.
There's no opportunity. So that's an example of when the media is, where put them in a bad position. This is it is a kind of thing where the guys who got you there are not now. Here was this is the play that took him out here, right? And that was kind of just left him out to dry.
Just a freak. He dislocated his finger. They tried to pop it back in. It wouldn't go back in clearly and whatnot. So, they held him out for precautions.
By the way, that to me looked like
he was fighting to go back in. He's like, "Yo, I'm going back in," and coach is like, "Nah, you're about to go make how much money being a first round draft pick?" I think.
I need to get a look at my freshmen and sophomores real quick. You're going to be the MVP. Relax.
Yeah, and then this friggin' guy playing on one ankle, dude. Like, you're good, bro. Go get healthy and get ready for your pro day.
So here's a good little RPO. They call this, and I learned the glance route. This is called
it's BAM right now.
So here's the glance route is press up the field
and then
showing vertical, or in a lot of cases they stalk block, right? So you don't know as the
because everything now is such a, there's always some type of run action, RPO. So this guy comes out and, you watch the receiver, he starts to kind of shuffle his feet, get ready to come engage me. And now all of a sudden, bam, he whips his head back and the ball's already on its way. Like, damn,
Yes.
Here's the thing, and this is what we always talk about, right? Because sometimes in high school, you have players that don't do what they're supposed to. Could this be successful for us?
What's that?
A glance route.
Yeah, I do think, because the thing
there are some things that we talk about, like, look, you're expecting the defender to do this, and he doesn't, because it's
a glance is really good. It's just you in the RPO part where they're doing the running here and stuff, or play action version of it. The quarterback has to be able to recognize
it's
that
a timing thing, man.
he's going to just wait and be patient so he gets the grass. Whereas the slant, you're kind of widening your space and you're banging it, the ball's gone now, right? So you don't have the extensive action like you would in the RPO here on a glance. The glance is a little more time. Just a tad.
This is where a full summer of work with your QBs and receivers can help.
This is a great play because they're sucked up for run.
Yeah, look at all the field. Look at the green grass there. Because why? Because this outside backer right here jumps up because he sees run action and has to, he's responsible if this guy wants to pull it. So he's got to make that play and be in space. So now, you're stealing here.
And what makes the glance route really, really effective and really good is that it's kind of, slant's a short route, right? It becomes more of like an intermediate route, even though it's
this is like a 4 or 5. Yeah, this is like a 6, 7, 8 yard route.
You're waiting until you got the guy, sucked to where you want him to be, and then you put that foot in the ground and you run to grass, and the quarterback is just basically reading it, and he knows you got the matchup. As soon as you run the grass, he throws it, and you're
first down.
The nice thing about it is a linebacker can't disrupt it because a slant, if you're slow on it, can be disrupted by a linebacker.
Plus, if you have a wideout who can either give a little wiggle here, or is strong enough to break a tackle, you're banging your head on a goalpost.
Right, because
a simple one man.
You're going to have the vertical all day off of that because you're doing that same glance hesitation and go vertical, right? So what are you in this?
Whereas normally it would be like a slant and go. You can just basically glance and go. Glance and go.
And a glance and go, I think, is maybe more difficult because receivers playing against the DBs playing against really good receivers are going to be taught to stay over the top and not let them.
You can even turn this into like a loop route where this guy's going to stick his foot in the ground and now work back outside to the sideline, and now you have you can do so much off of this one.
It's a great point that you made. So and this is really important. I just want to go back to what you just said. This is 100% correct. I wish I had a telestrator. So the third route, so you have 3 routes from this, okay? You have because the glance sets this up. The glance, which runs the grass, and you have the vertical, so he gives the kind of glance, the same thing, and now he just runs by him. And then the third one is exactly. And then the third thing is what you said. Now he glances, and then he bangs it out, and as soon as he sees them put the foot in the ground to go out, he throws the ball here, and now you have usually an easy completion.
And you can run that. You could call that could be a a staple first down play, because you can run that stick route as long as wherever that loop out, you can run that to the sticks if you want to. You know what I mean? Like maybe he's got to push a yard here or wherever, just get to the sticks, stick that foot in the ground, work to the sideline and go. It's a great, I think, one-on-one route, for a 2-minute drill where you got to allow the guy to either, glance and go, or he can get, if you want to stick it in the ground and get back to the outside, he's working the sideline. There's a lot to that, all from just one little intricate thing you can do.
I don't know what I did here, but I think I showed most of what I wanted to show today. Did something. So and it is.
So with that,
like how it's taught and teaching ingredients, yes. So that's what's, and I think maybe me and Coach D, the way we broke it down is like how Bama's not doing. A lot of people. So the way that football used to be played at that level was formations, what you do well. Those are kind of like how you hang your hat. Like that's kind of how Nick Saban used to run it, right? Where he would give the ball, the running backs were carrying it, then we go play action. What they evolved in Sarkisian, this is what's really good. And if he gets the guys, he really is really good, and then maybe that's why, obviously, probably why he wants to go to Texas, right? Because he probably feels like he can get the guys he needs to do, things he wants to do. But you could do these concepts, these simple concepts. So the two backs, whether it's an H back or a full back, or you're using a tight end, 2 backs. And I kind of, like I say, the tight end's like a second back a lot of times in sports now. I mean, football now, because in the offense, he lines up as an H back. Sometimes they use him as a fullback. So even when he's a tight end, he's really like a second back. Like he's used in that way. He's used to kick out, he's used to wrap around. So using him and that two backs to run like a lot of power action, and then you get that three routes from one concept. So you can run the ball with two backs, but you really have a spread offense out of it. And then those other concepts with motioning, what comes off the motioning with the throw out of the backfield, then the play action and back releasing. It's just concepts.
I love it as much as, as anybody that, I just love the idea of motion. You know what I mean? Like putting a guy in motion pre-snap screws with a defense in ways, whatever. I just think that pre-snap motions, adjusting on that stuff for high school defenses are difficult because even when you know exactly what you're doing, like you've prepared all week, when they motion here, we do this, and you got it down pat, it's still something else that has to go through your mind before the play that takes away from your ultimate concentration and focus.
Well, I think what's really cool, and off of what you're saying, what's really cool is now you can do all packages with all motion-based concepts and then come out with your absolutely no motion concepts where you're in set alignment. And what happens is the defense is forced. You have your concepts broken out by different things. So you could have your motion-based concepts with one back, your motion-based concepts with two backs, right? You don't need a lot. And then you could have the same look, but there's no motion at all. So you have a different concept, similar look, no motion concepts. And so what happens is the defense coordinator has to think, well, he might motion here, so I need this type of thing going on. And then, but you as an offense coordinator know, I never motion out of this concept. So you know what you're going to start to get. It's very difficult for defense, especially in college when everybody has great athletes. And then if a team has even the same level of athlete as the defense has to be better athletically. And it's kind of flipped where on offense, everybody kind of has their fastest guy almost as a receiver in college, right, or some sort of slot/receiver. And it makes it very difficult for the defense because now the fastest guy is always over. Now, if you go into the pros, that's even creeping. Well, most people still try to do the defensive first, right? Fastest.
Oh,
but if you look at Tyreek Hill, how he's the fastest guy in the field. So where almost everybody has their defensive players, probably the fastest guy in their team, Tyreek Hill throws a complete monkey wrench in there because what basically happens is this guy is faster than anybody else on the field, and you have no ability to go and cover him. I mean, you have no ability to go and cover him because when he starts moving around, what are you going to do? Same thing with Devonta Smith. What are you going to do when he starts moving around? It's the same thing with Najee Harris. The same thing on the pros with Chris McCaffrey, what they do with him. Cole Beasley, what you see Buffalo do. And they do that with Diggs and Cole Beasley, which is what makes the Bills have an interesting offense because Diggs, even though he's tall, is fast enough and wiry enough to do those inside concepts. Yeah. So it's really – so you're seeing like kind of that whole thing going, which makes it really difficult defenses. And they're like – they have to choose their poison and the adaptability. I'd love to see some stuff going forward like we'll try and pull it for you on the Football in the Kitchen Sink because that's who we are. Well, try to get some of the stuff from the AFCA convention and see if we can find something that somebody does to combat almost specifically that. I'm sure there is someone that'll be talking about it because it is a difficult concept. Now, in high school, you deal with that a lot more in the sense that a lot more kids play both ways. So this guy's offensive player is going to be the fastest guy in the field probably. Right. And you do some different things. But in college, that's like becoming more of a new concept. It was an old concept back in the, 70s and
Reggie
80s,
Bush.
like the wishbone, like you always had the faster guys on offense, but then the defense combated it by getting taking those guys who used to play offense and moving them defense.
Well, I just look at it like this. Like, you look what USC used to do with Reggie Bush.
Right. There you go.
Now if you're telling me Reggie Bush couldn't go on the other side of the ball and play lockdown corner and probably lock down most of the receivers in the NCAA, absolutely. But, to USC, they said, look, if we can throw this guy the ball and hand him the ball and he can fly around, we're going to do a lot of good things. Whereas if we just put him on the defensive side of the ball, we don't have that electric, spark that we could get, and now we can allow him to, kind of like you see, like even with a Charles Woodson, they used him on offense,
Woodson,
and then mainly he was defense, but what did they punt returns, kick returns, you know what I mean? That's how you can find those other ways. I mean, think about it.
But nowadays,
here's a great question would be, what NFL defensive player could go to the other side of the ball and make an impact on offense? My choice right away would be the Honey Badger.
I don't think he's as fast, though. I don't know, because he's not super fast. If you look at what he ran, he's very athletic and crafty. I don't know. I mean, he was a great punt returner. Is he still punt returner? I don't know. He was a great punt returner. Slot. I guess slot.
I don't see anybody there's nobody that jumps off the board at us right away that you would be like
Woodson nowadays. Okay, if Woodson was in college now,
I like that question though. I might have to post that one later.
You should post that one.
That's a Twitter one. We get a lot of responses from coaches all around the country on that one.
Well, don't you think Woodson was a product of?
Oh God.
No. Miami dominated, right, by doing that, putting all the best players on the defensive side of the ball, and they didn't care.
I'm sure Ed Reed could have played offense.
So
Taylor could have played offense.
Right. Woodson was part of that era, right? That was.
And then if you tell me Jeremy Shockey or Kellen Winslow couldn't have played like D end,
right? So that was a '90s thing. Right. So that was a 90s thing. So the point of that all is
like Vince Wilfork would have probably been a good guard.
Reggie Bush, to go to what you said, Reggie Bush launched what you see now. He literally launched what you see now, right?
Yes, Chris, Deion Sanders. Yes.
We all know Deion. That was the but Deion Sanders
who was the other guy that was
So that all goes to my point. Look, so
Redskins, Darryl Green.
Let's take let's take a step back. Defenses decided that Jimmy Johnson basically decided that we're going to have all our speed on defense. Okay. That is why Deion Sanders and all those guys, all those guys became defensive players, including Woodson, because of that. Deion Sanders would not be on defense. Deion Sanders would be a wide receiver, because you would look at the way offenses are now, and you're throwing the ball and you're doing all these different concepts. Deion Sanders would do what Devonta Smith does here. He'd score so many touchdowns that the extra boost you get from him on defense is not worth it. You're better off playing him on offense, right? Because you're going to get 4 touchdowns out of him.
Because remember, big plays in defense happen because your reaction skills, right? So that type of stuff happens every now and then, whereas offense, you're giving yourself more opportunities to utilize that because you're dictating what is being done.
Right. It's just a shift. It's a major shift because of the openness of offense that you have to have your fast.
I look back and I look at guys that when I think I'm thinking my mind right now is I'm thinking all the great corners, Champ Bailey, Georgia, right? Antonio Cromartie, those guys I'm sure are athletes, and could do things offensively.
Who's the best corner right now?
Oh, that's a great question. I wouldn't even Jalen Ramsey.
Jalen Ramsey. Okay. Jalen Ramsey is big. He's long. He is very fast. Okay. But he's
not twitchy.
But if you put him on the offensive side of the ball,
robot.
He would probably be great. I'm sure in high school I think he was a running back.
I'm sure he could take jet sweeps all day.
Right. But the point is you don't get that much of an extra squeeze by putting him there.
Right.
Right.
You're going to get more of him as just do your thing, lockdown. You know what I mean?
That's why they're rangy, like Darrell Revis was. Who was the guy who played for the Raiders? That was the Darrell Revis right after Revis.
Naza, weird name. He went to the Eagles, right? Even like Asante Samuel.
Right. They're strong. They're bigger. They're very athletic.
Like an Aqib Talib, right? Like these guys were bigger, longer. Even like a Richard Sherman.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Richard Sherman's not a bullet. They're highly technical in their skills. They're physical.
Like what was Revis's 40? I mean,
it's complete. And I guess that now the offenses.
You want to make a comparison to Deshaun Jackson.
Dory Jackson, Chris says. Yeah. I mean, those are all. It's just so. I think it's so interesting. They're all like 4.4s, the corners and stuff like that. But you see, if the guy's like a 4.3, like these a lot more and more they're on offense than just because there's a spot for them with that slot. And you could argue you're right. Reggie Bush may have started that, even though in the NFL he wasn't that much faster than everybody at the NFL, so he's still very successful. But in college, he was just so much more athletic. And
Kim Kardashian learned him.
He had a great. What's that? They broke up.
That's when
he started playing again.
Yeah, that's when he started. He's like once they bailed, like he was going down, and then bailed on her and.
That's why Jeter had to get rid of Mariah Carey. Man, it was taking too much time.
I like listening to Reggie Bush. I like he gives good. I like his analysis stuff.
He's good. Yeah, well, yeah. He knows. He definitely knows football. It's interesting because
I'm telling you, that's that lineup.
A guy who played all over the place like him.
But that lineup that they have, where it's Brady. I don't know if you know who it is. It's Brady Quinn. Okay, Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush, and Urban Meyer.
Well, there won't be Urban Meyer much longer.
I know he called me. I'm going down to Jacksonville. I'm in.
Good luck. Congratulations.
You can come. I need an agent.
I'm no longer. Oh, I could represent coaches, but I can't.
There you go. So you can reinstate me. I don't know if I'm a coach. I think I'm more of like a equipment manager.
That's a big business now, actually, the coach representation game.
You think? Look at some of these contracts that are being whatever. I mean, I know we've dove into this, but we do have to look at the coaching carousel because guys are making hires, man.
Well, I wanted to have. I had two things I wanted to bring up to you because I thought I sent one of them to you earlier, and one you might have saw on my feed. I just wanted your reaction because I know you'll have a nice long, extensive reaction to it. Let me just. The Buck Deck comes up here first. All right, let me find this. All right,
Day 2 Winter Sports.
Day 2 Winter Sports. All right, let's get.
And another Middlesex County school closes down for basketball.
Wow, listen to this. Oh, really? Who shut it down?
Carteret.
Oh, Cartret's the one that shut down football. The forgotten Bitcoin passwords worth an estimated $140 billion. Hackers.
And I read an article about who's the one dude on Shark Tank, the bald dude.
Oh, he says worth zero. Yeah, I know you're talking about.
He says, I will never. The big wine guy or whatever he is. Leary? Is it O'Leary? Leary?
Yeah.
He says, no Bitcoin.
I root for him to be wrong just because it's fun.
I put my $10 in.
Listen, the world goes to hell in the handbasket. I got some Bitcoin. I could at least barter with, I could do something. I don't need much of it, but I can at least survive, right?
That's it.
All right, here we go. Here's your boy right here, the man himself. Can you see it?
Yeah,
I'm not on that screen there.
Crying on the stage.
So I got to tell you some of the funny comments I thought. So some people wrote they wrote they programmed into his robotic to crying. they programmed it. They must have programmed it into his programming.
Because he never showed emotion. Come on, man. He shows some emotion.
The another guy did like a meme where he threw water on his eye, like the meme where they have to pour water in his eyes.
He made himself cry.
For
recruiting purposes.
It's great. You know what I think? I think this one he truly enjoyed because
you heard him say it a ton in the post, in all of his post-game stuff, and even like his pre-game stuff is, I really want this one for these guys. This team was such a team. I think this season brought a lot of teams together on a whole different level. And for all of these kids to now buy into something that is even more so than he was asking them to buy into, to truly trust this process,
right.
Cut out your social life, live in a bubble, do what you're supposed to do, and all this kind of stuff.
Declare for the NFL when they could have, like a lot of other teams did, right?
And I think that's something that, and
that conversation had to happen too. Like he had to, a couple guys had to come in his office and be like,
right.
Coach,
and to go undefeated.
Right.
But, I posted it last night. Like, you just look at Alabama and how they carry themselves, everybody, the uniforms, everybody's out there uniform, right? Like, nobody's just doing their own kind of world. You have nobody declare, and everybody, the center who's out for the year, he puts him in to snap the last couple snaps of the season. You know what I'm saying? And everybody hugs that guy. You know what I mean? Like, you just see a different camaraderie or a different atmosphere around this program. And for as hard ass as he comes across, because he does, he expects the highest of them, but it's not like you're not getting any praise from this guy. You can see it. I just think a lot of people think he comes off as that kind of coach. That's whatever.
Well, you get older, you do get, even him, you do get a little bit calmer, right? Because
but he's still getting after.
He still fires his headset once a game. And they tried, by the way, every time he got really irritated, they got off of him quick because it was national championship game. So they're probably trying not to play. Same thing with Coach Day. As soon as they saw them really
he gets jacked up too, bro.
Yeah, as soon as they saw him super heated, you could see they were super heated. They just panned away from him. Did you notice that last night? It's interesting because normally they don't even bother doing. They let it play out, but
nope. They were like it was.
They wanted everybody watching the game. Right. They don't want anybody.
They know how many people are watching that thing.
So this was someone.
And I hate when they play it in Miami because that field sucks.
What do you think about this? So this is what someone posted. Things I noticed about Bama. No.
Yep.
Shirts hanging out.
That's
I guess.
What I posted.
No palms up. The palms up. What do I call those?
Yeah.
Yep. So what you call it, hands?
No D-bag hands.
Basically, yeah, being a jerk hands.
Yeah.
No talking after making a catch, long run, or good defensive play.
Like you see the excitement, but you don't see these guys having to, there's no need for that because why? It's a strictly business policy. I call it the Barry Sanders approach, right? When Barry Sanders scored a touchdown, what did he do? He ran over to the ref and he handed him the ball every time. I've been here before. This is what I'm supposed to do. Now, don't get me wrong. I love emotion, but at the same time, I like controlled emotion, right? Like get excited within your players, your teammates, all that stuff. There's no need to go and do above and beyond. And even if you go above and beyond, you better sure as hell back it up. And these guys back it up.
Right. And then there's one more thing that I want to show. Oh, I guess. Oh, okay. That was wild. I didn't even realize that. But I'm going to get this to you and get your reaction. I thought it was great. By the way, 6.3 million views on this, just on Twitter, the Twitter version of it. Not for me, but whoever posted it. Yeah. I mean, look at this.
Oh yeah. So you want to talk about why like, but this is what we're talking about, right? This is why Gus Malzahn gets fired at Auburn, because this is the fan bases you're working with. This is downtown Tuscaloosa after they won. You think any of these people are worried about anything other than the fact that we just won a national championship?
I don't see a mask in play, and I don't see
anybody, supporting Trump or dissing Trump. I don't see any Black Lives Matter stuff going on there. I see people that are just elated with college football and their team winning, and that's what you're working with, man. That's what sports does right there.
That was pretty wild, pretty
That's
cool.
Crazy. Looked like the Capitol building.
and they had 14 people arrested, but I'm sure it was just for partying. It wasn't for anything.
I'm sure those guys didn't want to arrest them.
Yeah. They must have been, who knows, falling asleep in the streets, I guess. But that was really, really cool scene. Shifting to, I guess, not as exciting a thing, because I could talk about this all day. You said there's some coaching carousel stuff going on?
Yeah, so former Auburn defensive coordinator Kevin Steele gets hired as the new 2-year contract with Tennessee. He's not the defensive coordinator. Yes, hired, but he did get signed as a defensive assistant. He's going to make $450 per year, so not bad. It looks like the defensive coordinator for the Niners is become the top candidate for the Jets job. That was big. And here's a good one for you. The Jets yesterday interviewed. See if you remember this name, Terry Glenn.
Receiver?
He's a defensive backs coach right now.
Ohio State or no? Or
he's currently a defensive backs coach for the Saints. Okay. He interviewed for the head job with the Jets.
Oh, well, so did Bieniemy, right?
But I thought that, and we talk about this all the time.
Bieniemy could be
Terry Glenn, right? You think he'd be NFL wide receiver, coaching defense, right? Coaching defensive backs. Does it benefit you? Like, how do you view it? Because I view it in a certain way. Having played mainly in college, one side of the ball, which side does that make you a better coach on the other side of the ball?
Okay.
So, for example, early on in my career, I felt like it was, I don't want to say easier, but I felt more like I was having more success as an offensive coach having played defense in college.
Yeah,
and that was because, as an offensive coach, I knew what hurt a defense. So I think sometimes we see a lot of this now, whereas, it's kind of that, you see guys playing offense and whatever, or, maybe they were a quarterback and now they go over to defense and they can coach defense really well because they just see certain things and know what it works both ways. So that's my question. Do you, obviously you've run the gamut with both, but do you think that helps someone coaching the other side of the football?
If you were primarily one side, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh,
don't get me wrong. I think you got to learn everything, but that's
well, you're attacking. You know what the weaknesses are of
exactly
certain things. Now you have to know the other side too, because if you don't, then you won't know what to run to attack the other side.
Just like I thought as a player, I had more success on the defensive side of the ball coming from a wide open spread passing offense like I did in high school. A lot of these guys playing defense with me in college were like, what do you mean there's more wide receivers? Like, how come the guards aren't pulling? How come there's
I played on a different
lined up in the, how come they don't just run the ball? Like, how come how come there's more than just a waggle on third down? Like, yeah, dude, like we're going to see about 40, 50 passes a game. Like, get used to it.
One of the
ball skills were just horrific.
This is actually taking me back to an interesting thing. When I saw the Ohio State, how they're playing defense,
yeah,
it reminded me a little bit of when we had to play Villanova, and they had the Finnegan brothers. They played in the NFL, and then they had a quarterback that was, I don't remember what the quarterback's name was, but anyway, they ran a lot of spread, and we were in a 4-3, and I just remember like,
right, I think we've talked about this.
I remember, blitzing, and like they had an answer for that. And then, I got a sack or two off of them, but then they had answers for it after that. And then we dropped the coverage. They would just run digs in behind, I drop in the coverage. The guy would run up the field and sit in behind me. And like, it was just, and it did that to all the backers, right? Then if you
make everybody look funny. Yeah.
But then you brought in, cause you had that 4 down front, and you didn't move off of it very much, and it's still people. It like you felt like you were hamstrung, but you didn't know it back then.
Right? You had no idea because that was just what you did.
You just were like you're thinking you're out in the field. You're like, there has to be another way, but you don't know the other way because you're just kind of playing what you're told to run, and that's where I really understood, like, playing in those games. I really like, dude, if a team lined up in the eye, I was like, oh, this is easy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Now, if they had a really big line, it was a different kind of problem. It was a physicality problem. But as far as understanding what was going on, but when the team started chucking it around and running inside zone, this is way back then. Now, obviously, things are much more different. But
back then.
You were like, wait, like what? They're like doing zoned and they're throwing? Like,
what's going on?
What's going on here? So, like, you were wrong. You know what I mean? Like, you're coming up the field and the ball's going in behind you. And you're like, whoa. So I learned a lot from that. I didn't know it at the time because I wasn't coaching right away. But once I started coaching, I realized, oh my gosh, like, you have to have adaptive philosophy, like adaptive ways of doing things. And you can't get completely set on just one thing, because what do you do when they're exploiting your one thing and you're stuck in it? Like, what are you going to do? You're just going to get your butt kicked?
You're just going to say, okay, that's it. Throw your hands up and end it? No, man, you got to have an answer.
That's why you see teams who run the triple option. Their goal is to get you into that one thing, because what else are you going to do? Like, it's kind of the opposite philosophy. Is like, instead of trying to have flexibility, they're trying to get you to give the same exact look over and over again, because there's no other choice for you if you're going to stop the triple option or the veer. So it's interesting, that kind of like the different philosophies. You're either forcing a team to completely try to adapt their style to your style, or you're trying to force a team to adapt their style where they have zero flexibility, so you know where they're going to be in every single time. It's interesting. Anyway, that's probably over the head of half the people we talked about that are listening, but good to learn. Good stuff.
How about Ohio State not having their kicker?
Right. Did he have COVID or something?
And so the punter, like, so now you have a true freshman kicker. When I heard that, I started to quite like, oh, like, that's a hell of an intro to college football. Like, hey, buddy, you're kicking today. Like, now the punter was kicking off, but it's just another one of those things, man. Like, people I don't think realize that just that little, like, that little.
Well, that limits what you could, like, when can I kick a field goal? Like, oh, I can't kick a field from here anymore.
Freshman, can he do it? Or now look, who's going to kick off, because now my guys are actually going to have to cover.
Should I take a chance? Should I not take a chance? Like, it's interesting. Yeah, no doubt. Well, what else we got? We got anything else?
Let me see if there's any more coaching moves. I
don't think there was too much today.
No, there isn't.
In the NFL, new.
I looked at all the Marshall candidates. All the candidates at Marshall are position coaches from like Division I levels, and a lot of them have ties to Marshall. Looks like that's the way they're going to go. I do think you'll like this. Clemson just hired a high school coach from Alabama to be a part of his in a player development role. This guy played quarterback with while Dabo was coaching the receivers for Alabama back in the day, and has been a head coach in Alabama for 9 years. So I thought that was another one of our little things that we hit on about high school coaches going to the next level. So Clemson is now, grabbing one of those guys up and moving forward with that, which is interesting. You did see that the Raiders hired Gus Bradley as defensive coordinator, and then your Cowboys hired Dan Quinn.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
So your Cowboys are
making
moves.
Pete's hilarious. I was our backup. It's right. He was a kicker. I forgot in high school. So if our kicker went down,
Pete, don't. Sometimes Pete, just don't. I don't say I was the backup personal protector, man. I mean, I know you were an athlete, but I wouldn't want to be a kicker. Punter, maybe. Look, I was all conference holder, so.
I was actually a great punter in high school. I was all league.
Look, 47 yarders. Yeah. Here we go. All right. Pete,
Time.
did you have the square toe shoe too? You just
probably. Yeah, I think he was straight on. Now
we're gonna find out. You know he's gonna respond. That's funny.
I know one thing I wasn't good at for sure. That was extra points that I had to do it my junior year.
What, kicking them?
Yes. So in high school, I think you kind of were. I was punter, kick returner, punt returner, running back, safety, and then my last year, senior year, they moved me down to
See, in high school, we had one kid that was capable of kicking extra points my senior year, but he couldn't kick field goals. So I kicked all the field goals, and he kicked all the extra points.
I was terrible at extra points.
Soccer style, he said. Was your field grass or turf back then? So grass. Okay. Because you're right. Because I think that new stadium was in 2003 when they went 1A is when they built that nice stadium, right?
You're talking about UConn.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm not talking about Saddlebrook. There's still grass, for God's sakes.
Look, Pete Colley's killing me right now. He's a soccer style kicker. Like the arm. We
also dated sorority, not basketball players.
Oh, he's making fun of our kicker. I can't air dirty laundry on here, Pete. So our kicker was great, by the way. We had a guy. He was a transfer from Maryland.
Of course. I mean, that's what I was going to say. He's probably a transfer.
He was a transfer. He would bury him. He was he won quite a few games. I was like, whoa. And FC, we were FC. I don't think it was 1AA. But I don't know what they called it.
FCS.
Pete, you want to come? Pete, Troy coming on? What are you going to read? You going to read for us? So anyway, so that's.
No, I'm not reading.
Oh, you're not reading?
And this one.
So you picked Alabama. We'll bring you on real quick. Come on in here, okay? Come on in here. Yeah, you can sit here.
Yo, what's up, LeBron?
Daddy.
We haven't gotten there yet.
Did he go to practice in that jersey?
Yes.
Did he?
Yes.
Hi, Troy. How are you, sir?
Good.
Good.
So, oh wow, our kicker Pete Conley said was in the Blue Gray game. Okay, yeah, he was legit. It's an all-star game for the NFL stuff. I don't think they have the Blue Gray anymore.
Go UConn.
So anyway, yeah,
they have the East-West Shrine.
Right.
What happened?
Oh, he played the East-West Shrine game.
Wait, Daddy, where's the red cover?
Oh, you can have this one. So, all right. So, Troy. Here's what we're saying here. Okay. So, do you know how many points were scored last night by Alabama? Do you remember what you predicted?
I don't know.
You predicted 56 points.
What happened?
Guess how many they scored?
How?
52.
And how much did that?
You said 56, so you were within 4 points. You were actually the closest in points scored for Alabama between me, Derek. Shows you how little knowledge. No, I'm kidding. Shows you how smart you are about football. Okay, and then now the other side you were a little wrong on. You said Ohio State would only score 7 points. They actually scored 24, I think. So you were close. You were close. Okay. So
Why do we said Ohio State score 1?
well, you said 7 touchdowns for Alabama, which you were very close on, and 1 touchdown for Ohio State.
I tell you, they covered the over, man, but it wasn't like, it was it's just so many points.
Right. So anyway, so the next thing we want to know is I want to know this. Okay, so far you've played 3 sports. Okay?
What?
This is your question for today.
Okay.
Okay, then we'll let you go. You've played soccer. Kind of started in basketball. We're not there yet. And tennis. Which one is so far your favorite? That's tennis. Tennis. All right. Well, that makes a lot of sense because you're pretty darn good at that. So I get it.
Sampras.
What? Hey, make my life easier.
Andre Agassi.
So let's ask this question of you. What do you like about each sport? What do you like first about tennis?
What's your favorite part about
What's your favorite part of tennis?
Use your word.
Talk like a human.
Use your words.
What do you like?
Do you like running around? Do you like swinging the racket?
Yeah.
I like
Talk normal.
because I like
Talk in the air.
because I like the hitting.
Yeah, swinging a racket. Okay, there you go. Good. All right. Then the next question is, see, don't touch that because then we get signed off. Okay, and then you give me a punishment.
Focus, Troy. Focus.
Okay, stay focused. I know it's difficult, but stay focused here. Second question.
Plug in, plug in.
What is it you like about soccer? What's the fun part about soccer? Is it this
Kicking.
kicking? Okay, that's good. That's a good sign for soccer. Sport of communists, but that's okay.
Coach.
I'm just kidding, people. Okay, I know everybody gets they're all bunched
We
up.
just lost 30,000 viewers.
What's that?
You just lost 30,000 viewers.
No, our viewers only listen to football. So then the last. We have to be able to take a joke in this world. It's not the end of the world. If we make a joke in society, we can all still wake up in the morning and live. Okay, so then the last one is basketball, though we haven't really gotten very far yet. What do you think you like most about basketball? Dunking. Everybody likes dunking. Ask LeBron James about that. He's the king of dunking. All right, very good today. All right, you're off. We'll see you later.
Good job, Troy.
Great job.
I'm gonna play Monopoly with Mommy.
All right, go play Monopoly with Mommy. That sounds like fun.
So let me run through some of the props, the prop bets last night.
Okay. Yeah.
That I thought were pretty cool. And I'll be a whatever because I'll just like I was talking to you last night. I was saying it's just there's something about when you can put in live bets.
Love you, bud.
I am by no means a bettor or any of this stuff, but I just have when you can do live bets and you're watching a game and as a coach you get the feel for a game, or I almost feel like I have an edge because I can understand what coaches are going to do or what they're trying to accomplish, which I think gives me somewhat of an advantage. That just might be my mentality or whatever. But
that's interesting. Well, I think you said in game.
In game, so say I can see what's going on. I can place a bet like Ohio State has the ball. I can place a bet for the next series as to what Ohio State's going to do. As far as will they pick up a first down or who's going to score or something of that nature. I don't know. I just feel like I have the edge. But so
you're saying you're able to be Vegas on those.
Yeah. I mean,
is there an arbitrage between that plays in your advantage where Vegas has to make quick decisions based off their analytics of
Like,
what's going to
why
happen?
can't I go work for FanDuel and set those odds based off of being a football coach?
Well, I think they are analytics. They use like E-Day.
But is it somebody who knows?
What's that?
Is it somebody who's just really good at numbers and whatever, or are they football people? Or do they work collaboratively? You know, because you think about it. So, like here, so we were talking about before the game, like, it was Mac Jones 380 and a half yards passing. He had that in like the third quarter.
Yeah. Well, we bet that he was going to do that. We didn't bet, but like you might. I didn't bet. I just said that.
I missed.
What did we get right? What did we get right? So
let me. I mean, we just went through them. I don't think we really. I didn't really.
Mac Jones definitely had. I know I said more than 380 and a half. I think we both did.
Right. I'll give you some of the other ones that I like. I put in for like Najee Harris to rush for 29 yards, over 29 yards rushing in the first quarter. He didn't get that. He had 27.
What did he rush for overall?
70 something.
Ooh, I was pretty close. I said it was going to be like an 80 and
rushed,
70.
But he had 2 touchdowns on the ground, 1 in the air.
How many yards receiving?
40.
Oh, all right,
41, I think. But here, I put in for Trey Sermon to have 25 yards or more rushing in the first quarter.
Bettors must have lost their mind when he got hurt.
100%. Any prop bet you had with him that you were expecting to score, I put in for Najee Harris to have the first touchdown, which he did.
Oh, you did? That was a good one because I bet you half the people put in for
then there's other prop bets that I think are funny. Like, will there be a first down by any team between 11 minutes and 12 minutes on the clock? Ooh. You know what I mean? I hit like 3 of those.
Wow, really?
Then I hit another one with, will Najee Harris score a touchdown? Because I could, in my eyes, I could tell.
You see the flow of the game.
Correct. I got another one with next Alabama touchdown for Devonta Smith because it was the end of the half. And I saw like, hey, they're going to start.
How else they're going to score, right?
They're going to start pressing, throwing it down the field a little bit. So, yeah, I mean, so those were some of the props that I hit, which I thought were pretty cool overall. I just, to me, it's a betting is whatever. You'll never understand it. I don't like it or enjoy it. It's just, something that adds to watching a game itself. But I thought that some of those were pretty cool. And obviously, when you're in a bigger game setting like that, you get all the funny bet, all the funny prop bets and stuff like the Super Bowl when they bet on the coin toss and all that kind of funny stuff going. But for this weekend coming up, some of the lines, the Packers are favored by 7 against the Rams as of right now. The Ravens are the underdog to the Bills by 2.5. Cleveland is a 10-point underdog to the Chiefs, and the Bucs are the underdogs by 3 to the Saints. Now, over under in the Bucs game, 51.5. Over under in the Browns Chiefs, 56. Did I lose you? All right. Well, it looks like we're having some technical difficulties with Coach Schuman, but I will continue going through this. Rams Packers over under 45. Remember, you're playing in Green Bay, so we got to check the weather on that one. Obviously, I don't think you're going to have much output from the Rams offense as that's going forward. Guys, I'm really on board with this Ravens-Bills game. I think it's going to be a phenomenal game, the game of the weekend in my eyes. Hard-nosed, old-school throwback type of football game. Ravens are whatever. I think it's tough. But, it is what it is. So Coach Schuman is coming back. He should be back in about 2 minutes. He's obviously having some technical difficulties over there, but, hey, this is what we do. I can hold it down and whatnot. Just want to say, I really love doing this every day with Dave. The interaction from you guys and whatnot. It's really a great thing. We're just trying to put together something, football in the kitchen sink where we can talk a little bit of football. You guys can get, some opinions from what I think are, I think Dave is one of the great minds of football we have here in New Jersey. From a lot of things that he's done in the past and continue to do moving forward. He has a lot of different perspectives on things and whatnot. But it's a pleasure for me to work with him and to have the ability to do something like this. To just get on every day and talk football and stuff like that. Hopefully, open some eyes and you can get a little bit of perspective from certain things. And we want to continue to grow this and move forward. And like I said, the interaction, I hope that's something that we can progress and move forward with. More interaction from you guys listening, from you guys watching, because I think that really makes it. When I'm listening to these drive home shows and, these drive hour shows and stuff with the interaction with callers and things like that, I think really add to it to get, different perspectives from different people. Because ultimately, you're going to see that, Dave's going to lean one way on something. I'm going to lean another way. We may agree or disagree, but just to get different perspectives, maybe that aren't on board with, either of the ways that we look at things, going forward, I think that would be cool. As it happens, and I continue to try and improve on this stuff, as far as, speaking and, hopefully we can, get the lighting and whatnot. And it looks like Coach is coming back on right now. So we're a little
no more
jokes. He's back. He talked about communism and China shut him down. So, I mean, this is what happens, guys.
Zero dark 30, I went. I don't know.
We're good, Coach. We're holding it down. We held it down.
I don't know. I don't know if it was that I made fun of communism or that I made fun of soccer. I wasn't sure which one it was, but either one of them, they got me shut down. One of the two. So no more jokes about soccer. No more jokes about communism.
Well, like I was saying, we were just going through. We were going through some of the lines, and whatnot. And I don't know if you got all of that, but the Bucks Saints game, the Bucks are a 3-point underdog.
All right, so we're starting with the Bucks. But the Bucks are 3-point underdog.
And it's early in the week.
Anybody out on the other side?
What do you mean? As far as like rosters and things like that?
Yeah.
The game is in New Orleans, if you want to factor that into anything. The over-under is 51.5.
Over, and I am going to take Brady.
I think it's a solid pick.
Well, I mean, either one. It's a toss-up, that one.
Grandpa versus grandpa.
Grandpa versus grandpa.
So you're taking Brady. Are you taking the points or are you taking them to win? Let's do all of them. We'll go point spread, over, under, and since we're getting down to the nitty-gritty of whatever, we'll take, money line, point spread, and over, under. So it's Bucks +3. You think the Bucks are going to win or cover?
Well, if they're going to win, then they're covering in my eyes. So
right, obvious. Okay, so so the Bucks to win, and the over under is 51.5. Cover. Okay. Chiefs Browns. Browns are 10-point underdogs.
Chiefs.
It's hard because the way they came.
Chiefs cover.
Okay. So the Chiefs -10.
They're covered.
The over-under is 56.
Over.
My game of the week. Ravens-Bills. Ravens are 2.5-point dogs.
I think this is almost a pick 'em. So I'll say I'm going to take the Bills.
Ooh.
And
the Bills -2.5.
The Bills are the favorites, right? So I'm going to take the Bills in the straight up.
Okay.
And then the Ravens
in the line.
In the line. I think it's going to be like 1 or 2 points there.
It's going to be close.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is what I think the Ravens are going to cover.
So basically, the Vegas is
I
saying-
actually think the Ravens are going to win, but
right.
the over-under is 50.
I say under. But I say under.
And then the last game, which is not one I'm really looking forward to watching, but of course I will. The Rams are 7-point dogs to Green Bay.
Green Bay cover.
Green Bay -7 and
Cover.
over-under is 45.5.
Cover.
The over. All right.
Our disclaimer is do not, and disclaimer of football and the kitchen sink, do not follow our betting tips or anything. We're not liable. You know how they have that stuff?
Yeah.
Like,
Let me see if we got any team props.
it's not a reflection of football in the kitchen sinks ideas, but
Absolutely.
Coach Schuman and Coach DePascal's individual opinions on the
So
situation.
let's do this again. So let's do our own little prop bets before they go out. Which quarterback throws for the most yards
Out of all of these guys,
in all of you got 2, 4, 6, 8 teams? Which quarterback throws for the most yards? Because let's see. I mean, you can run through
Aaron
it, right?
Rodgers.
So Rodgers most yards. Okay.
Mahomes.
Most touchdowns. Who
Mahomes.
throws for the most touchdowns?
Mahomes. I think I'm pretty on that because he's very efficient. There are games when he's thrown for 1 billion yards, but there's a lot of games when he's been highly accurate and just throws a bunch of touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers is going to throw 9,000 passes in that game. So
Which
Drew
team
Brees is going to throw 9,000 passes. God, I'm sorry. He does have Kamara, though.
Does Brady have over or under 2.5 touchdown passes?
I say over.
Yeah, Brady over 2.
Who's the running back? Fournette?
Or no, Fournette. Yeah.
Over. Yeah, over.
Does Gronk score?
How did he play last week?
He look. He always is a red zone target.
Yeah, I know that. I'm just curious if he. Well, they're gonna need him to score 1. So yeah.
Let's see. Gronk scores.
Yeah, I think Gronk scores.
How about this one? Does your boy Des Bryant score a touchdown?
No.
How about this? Does Des Bryant have over or under 3 targets? I wish I could make these up. These would be fun.
Under. Did he play last week?
Yeah, he had 1 target.
I didn't even know he played.
Does rushing yards, Nick Chubb over or under 75 yards rushing?
Under.
I think that's a good one.
If he goes over, they're winning.
Yes, I agree. I agree. Does Stephon Diggs get in the end zone?
Yes.
I agree. Over or under Rams quarterback 2 touchdown passes?
Ooh, that's a good one. That one I'm not sure on because it depends on how his hand is. Who's their tailback again?
Who, the Rams?
Yeah.
What's his name? I mean, he's not a big name guy.
I don't think they're going to score that much. That's the problem. So
Over or under 14?
under. He is a heck of a coach. Last week he proved that to me more than he did in any other.
Does Lamar Jackson score?
Yes. Oh, you mean a touchdown, like a rushing touchdown or something?
Yeah, TD. Yeah, is he scoring?
I think he's going to have to. So yeah.
I like these.
Hopefully I make you some money when you think about it all.
I just asked Colton. I just asked my nephew.
It's just like this. Yeah. Who's going to be closest to the number of points scored for Alabama? Well,
Listen, he was
Troy was
he
closest.
crushed
Okay.
it last week, man. He was 6-1. No, how many games? There was 6 games last weekend?
Yeah. Who?
Yeah, he was 5-1.
Who was?
The game he lost was the Bears.
Colton?
Yep.
Yeah, see, just let the 5-year-olds do it.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I always think this is interesting. You know, we'll see where they move, if the lines move or whatever, but it is what it is. Also, I think, do you think this year playing a game, I don't really think it matters this week for the Rams, but do you think having to play in Green Bay with no fans makes it easier than any other year?
Green Bay has no fans.
I don't believe so. If they do, either way, it's not
Makes it easier for who? The away
the
team?
team coming in.
Oh, yeah. Anytime there's less fans, it's easier for the away
How much
team.
of a factor you think?
You know,
Because obviously it's hard to put
I
anything
think it's a
on
big
it,
thing.
but
I think it's a big
I'm
factor.
a big
but
home field advantage guy. I think that adds a lot to it.
definitely an advantage. There's no doubt about it. Football is not as much of an advantage as basketball.
Ooh.
Basketball home field is 10 points, in my opinion.
Go play at Duke.
Even in high school,
Oh.
people are pains in the butts. They're yelling.
Yeah, butt deck, baby.
They're yelling not. So it's a 10-point in your favor. So if you lose at home, it's a big deal. Like either you didn't come to play, or
Especially a place like Green Bay.
I think Green Bay, it's a big deal.
Hardest place to play
But
in
I
the
don't
NFL.
think I don't think football it's as big a deal because you just have a lot of noise in general.
Hardest stadium to play in the NFL.
Hardest stadium to play in the NFL. I mean, you mean normally?
Yeah, if this is non-pandemic.
And everybody's equally good.
Everybody's equally whatever. Toughest NFL stadium. How about we go top 5?
I gotta think for a few.
Toughest NFL stadiums to play or fans to play in front of.
I would say
You can work down if you need to.
I could just give you 5 in general. I don't know if I can put them in order because I just don't know enough about these other. I do know KC's tough. That's definitely the top 5. They're loud the way the stadium is set up.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
I would feel the Browns is probably a tough place. When
Really?
obviously they're not usually good. This year they are good. I
Yeah,
think
they're loyal.
I would say the Steelers are a tough place.
Yeah, I had it. Yeah.
I would say, is weather a factor here?
Sure.
I would say Packers is tough. North in general is way harder if they pack it because
Minnesota.
it's cold. Although I thought Minnesota was indoors.
Yeah, but I'm saying think about Detroit if it was outside.
If it was outside, you might not want to go there.
Not going there anyway.
I represent a player from Central Michigan. I got to tell you this. I had a long conversation with him. I was really curious. He was a lineman for them. He was really good. He was with a couple teams briefly.
The Chippewas.
They were so far north. I didn't know that. But Central Michigan's like way up there.
Yeah, it ain't central.
And they have like these tunnels and stuff and above and below.
Yeah, underneath. So that thing's so you can get from place to place without having to go outside.
I was mind blown by that. He said it's so cold you can't.
It's like you're in a Russian silo.
Like you can't go outside. Yeah.
Now think about living in Canada.
Welcome to the gulag. Yeah.
KC, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Green Bay. There's 3 on here that I
think Giant Stadium's got to be difficult. Of course, I would say Philly's got to be difficult.
When I give you the ones that you haven't said yet, I think you're gonna be like, oh yeah.
Patriots has got to be difficult. I'm big on the North. I would say the Falcons are probably difficult.
Atlanta.
Yep, because
damn, you're still missing the ones I would have said.
Oh God, Cowboys. I don't think Cowboy Stadium is that difficult.
Buffalo.
Buffalo. Yeah, Buffalo definitely. Yes, the Bills Mafia.
And
I completely forgot about it. Seattle because of the sound. You're right. I mean, I think it's really – there's like – the NFL is like split into really tough and not that tough. Like, I don't think any of the California ones are tough.
It hasn't shown it because I think that ultimately Las Vegas is going to be a pain in the ass because you're talking Raiders.
Yeah, Raider fans. I just don't know enough about it.
Yeah. But that's something I look forward to. Now, when you think college football stadiums, right? What do you think right away? First stadium that comes to mind.
The toughest place to play in all of college football.
Right.
Somewhere that's impossible to win.
Is it LSU?
Let me think. Hold on. Give me a second.
Is it Penn State? Is it Michigan? Is it Ohio State?
No, not anymore Michigan. I think
Clemson? Auburn? Bama?
Yeah. Are they all? It depends on how good they are. I mean, obviously, Bama, all these places can be tough to play. I would say that when they've been good, I would say these places are tough to play. So if you're not good, it doesn't matter. I mean, or even if you're pretty good, it's not as big a deal. When they're good,
Rutgers,
it's just not enough people. They won the Louisville game. It was loud as heck. I was there, but it's just not enough people to be that much of a.
I think LSU's got to be on this list.
The Swamp is tough. I think LSU is tough. I mean, you're going to go through most of the SEC is going to be pretty tough, but those two in particular, I think Clemson has got to be tough. Death Valley. Also,
not like Florida State.
I've been there. I've actually been there for a game, so I'll give you my opinion. I would have not been intimidated to go out there.
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame's tough because they're on top of you. Listen. I went to a Notre Dame game.
That's on my bucket list.
I'd say the best thing about when I was in the agent business was going to these games, and then if you got a chance to talk to the players after, for meet the parents or whatever, and you say hello to the player. The tough part about Notre Dame was literally the fans are on top of the stadium. It was unique. Now I know they have a new stadium, right? Or they expanded. Okay, so it's still the same thing. When I had my back was killing me the day we went there, and your seat is not a seat. This is what your seat is.
A bench, right?
See this right here? This
bench, bleacher.
It's not a bleacher. It's stone. It says 48. Okay, now just kind of envision this: the 4 and the 8 right here. Okay, now let's slide over right here. 50. It was like that. Like that's how close you were. People were standing in the aisle because they couldn't get into their seat.
Have you been to Ohio State?
It was crazy. I didn't enjoy it that much as a fan, other than the pageantry, because it was so packed. We actually snuck ourselves into the press box and watched the rest of the game from there. I couldn't take it.
Ohio State or Penn State?
Penn State. I think Penn State also I don't know if it's still built that way. Last time I was there was quite a long time ago. Not like some of these other places I've been to that are new. Penn State was like straight up.
Right, you said that.
So loud because it's straight up.
I heard the old school Orange Bowl where Miami used to play used to be.
Well, there's no one in the stands. There's no one in the stands though. Oregon.
Because that's another one where they're on top of you, correct?
They're on top of you.
Like Oklahoma State.
You like my Barry Bonds card?
Barry Bonds, pre or post HG? Pre.
This is Barry Bonds. First year. Rookie. Got a few of those. I got a Bo Jackson.
LSU, Florida, Clemson, Notre Dame, Penn State, Oregon.
LSU what?
LSU, Florida, Clemson, Notre Dame, Penn State, Oregon, in no particular order.
Yeah, I've been to Georgia. I could just telling you. No, I don't know Alabama. Alabama must be tough. I'm sure it's tough. Georgia, the Hedges. Yeah, the Hedge. Georgia was fun. I didn't, and you are kind of on top of them, but it has like a little bit of a bougie atmosphere. Like little
interesting.
So, and they're very strict. So you can't really get too out of control. What they did have was a pretty damn good tailgate.
When I went to the Swamp, that was interesting.
I just looked on TV.
That was for a spring game, and the atmosphere was jumping. I mean, even the way it was set up, it was just cool.
Set up, it's sick way it's set up. There was another stadium. This was the one we forgot. When they were good, this place was really difficult to play at. Really difficult. I'll give you a guess. It's ACC. Really. Yes. Virginia Tech, the way it's set up also. Now, I've never been there, but I just talked to I had a couple of Virginia Tech. They said it was so loud. It was deafening.
Right, the atmosphere.
And they're playing that Sandman music. Yeah, I don't know if they still play that, I guess.
I would think. It's kind of their staple.
I think that's one of the coolest. So they have a cool one. Clemson has a cool one. Who else has I seen this? I've been to Boston College. Great stadium. Not too intimidating. It's a great stadium, though. I was there when they played, and they beat. And Ryan Day was the offensive coordinator. They beat. Who was it? Was it Florida State? I think it was Florida State. Who had no USC? USC. They had Leonard. What's the guy who used to play for the Jets? The D tackle, D end. Leonard. He's from USC. He was their first pick. The Jets. Anyway, I don't know how he's doing now, but they beat US. That was pretty good. That was pretty good. It was packed, but I don't think I would have been intimidated if I would felt some sort of. I mean, these guys aren't intimidated, but you know what I mean, some sort of major edge. I'll
tell you, it was a fun place to play, and you'll brush it off or whatever. But just because of, like you said, the atmosphere and how it was playing at Montclair State, because the fans were on top of you, and you get even a few thousand, it was loud. And there would be, because the visiting stands are concrete, and then you have home bleachers, but the sound just echoes, dude. It's weird.
I can't.
And the end zone's closed with a building.
I can't really kind of imagine it.
I'm telling you, and you wouldn't, because you just look at it, you're like, this is a high school field. But I'm telling you, when it was packed, it was loud.
You're saying it echoes?
Yeah, I mean, it was.
I think
I only play whatever. One of the probably the best place I play.
Texas might be. I'm guessing Texas. Oh no, Texas A&M's got to be tough. That's the home of the 12th man.
Right.
It has to be tough. Has to be tough. They don't talk about. Do they still talk about that as much?
Not as much.
That used to be a big thing.
I thought Nebraska used to be a tough place.
Brett.
Iowa. I'll tell you what.
Iowa might be tough for different reasons, though. It's cold, it's brutal, and a lot of the I don't know. I mean, there was. I was thinking of another place that was. I don't know. How about the coolest places to play? The coolest stadiums. like the ones that you want to go in
Like,
five stadium.
Like Union City on the roof.
Yeah, but for college. Oregon has to be one of them. I heard it's like you know what is actually a cool stadium? It wasn't that loud, but I thought it was cool how it was set up. Stanford.
Okay.
You walk down into the stadium. So you're like this. It's a bowl kind of thing. It was the only it was the only stadium back in the day. This is 3 or 4 years ago, but 3 or 4 years ago that had full internet access in the stadium. You most stadiums.
Now that's like a staple.
You couldn't get it.
I think that for some reason Texas Tech stands out.
Oh, Texas Tech's supposed to be tough. Just they haven't been as good lately. But yeah, that's supposed to be Lubbock. There's nothing outside of Lubbock.
There's nothing. One that always
you can get some good land cheap if you want it. I'll go in on it with you.
I hope you hit oil.
We can get 1,000. We get 1,000 acres.
I hear Tennessee is hard.
Go on some cattle. What do you say? Tennessee. I've been to a Tennessee game. No, I have not. I take that back. I was at Georgia watching them play Tennessee. I heard Tennessee is. You're right. Tennessee is supposed to be hard. Tennessee is. So you know what's a cool stadium? I'm gonna give you one. It's not an FBS stadium, but I felt history when I was there, and I went to this game, and it's called The Game. You know what?
I liked playing at Holy Cross when we played there.
It's on the highway though. Not really.
One of the best places I played was Stony Brook.
Seawolves?
Full-blown stadium. It was Jumbotrons in both end zones. Now, obviously, that was something that, we weren't accustomed to. It was legit, and it was fun. And we beat them on Halloween, which was even crazier because there were some things walking around that stadium that shouldn't have been let in, that's for sure.
Delaware for FCS is the tough.
Right.
Tough.
Okay.
Delaware's tough. New Hampshire's tough. William and Mary's a cakewalk. Even though they're good, so they'll beat you.
I like Columbia Stadium.
Columbia Stadium,
because you got the water.
It's cool. It's not a good. It's not a great place to play though. Army's a great stadium.
Have you ever been to Navy?
I've been to Navy. I've never been there for a game, but I've seen it.
Yeah, we played there. That was pretty cool.
Navy's a nice looking stadium, but it's not. Army's way cooler than Navy.
Everything that goes on at our Army home football game is amazing.
Army home football game felt special. Like I went to watch one of the kids I coach play. I was just like, wow. Like I just feel like,
right.
Like you feel like you're thrown back into like the Revolutionary War and like
right. The whole setting of everything is just different.
Like that was an outpost, to stop the British. Benedict Arnold and all that kind of stuff. I bet you a lot of people don't even realize that. That was like Benedict Arnold wanted to take that area, and I think he might have even briefly, when he traded, might have briefly captured it. I can't remember. I think he briefly captured that area, and then something along those lines. They advanced on it. Anyway, what about? Oh, I'll tell you who has a great intro. Well, I don't know if they still use it. They used to have a great intro because I haven't been to actually a new game under Schiano ever. But Rutgers' intro is pretty darn cool. I just stopped it in my head. What?
What do you mean intro? Like the way they
come out the game, the song they come out to.
Oh, okay.
It's like a Hans Zimmer song. It's
that
awesome.
tunnel is so long.
It's like the Gladiator. They come out to like the Gladiator or Hans Zimmer thing. It's cool, really cool. Who else has a cool stadium? LSU, obviously. I got one for you. It's probably a cool experience. I heard Mississippi is a.
And I hear Clemson.
Clemson. Oh,
I mean, we said that, but the running down the hill, the buses that take them around the stadium for 30 seconds.
Mississippi's supposed to be the best tailgate.
Well, we're going to get down there.
That's
we have connections. We should be able to get there.
Well, you can get there, and we can get tickets.
You know what I mean?
It's just
come to the SIP.
Have you ever been to? It's like an hour and a half from Memphis. No,
I've never been anywhere.
So then you could, you would like. You know what? That trip you'd like. You know why? You know what we could hit? This is why you'd like it. We'd be able to hit Memphis, which is Beale Street, which is cool, man. Like it's not as big. It's kind of.
I need to go to Nashville.
Nashville's cool.
Well, next year
Nashville's kind of a hip city now. So. It used to not be a hip. It used to be.
Nashville should be. Nashville should be the site of next year's convention. So we can hit that.
Mississippi, you will get to hit Memphis. Like you go a little early. Go for a day to Memphis. Go down Beale Street. Hang out on Beale Street. It's the jazz music. It's like it's cool, man. It's cool. I mean the blues. That blues.
Yeah, cool. Man.
And then it's Memphis, Beale Street is wild. It's like a mini New Orleans thing going on. Then you could drive across to Mississippi and you're surprised by a lot of things. And then it's like they have, first of all, I think it's called Tunica or Tupelo. I can't remember. No, Tunica, I think it is, where they have all the casinos. It's like an hour from Memphis.
I'm for that.
These casinos out of the middle of cotton fields. Literally, you're driving by cotton fields. Okay, and farms and cotton fields, and then boom, casinos. It's crazy. And people get crazy there. And then you go to now I've never been to Ole Miss, but Ole Miss is obvious. I think it's right near, within range there. Then you go to Ole Miss. You kind of hit all three in a weekend.
And then just crush it.
Then you get home as fast
I'm in. As fast as Listen, I just want to I will at some point within the next year and a half or whatever, as soon as I do want to go see a game in Vegas. I want to see that element of, Vegas, because I like Vegas. I'd go out.
Have you been to Vegas?
Yeah, I've been to Vegas. I'll go out there again. But I just, John Gruden, always been a fan. For the Raiders, for some reason, have always been a team that's on my radar. I just like, and then to play in a brand new stadium like that in Vegas, you know what I mean? Like, I'll go. I'm down for that. Make a weekend of that and then get out quick before any real damage is done.
So, some of my favorite things are no longer there anymore. So,
yeah, I mean,
I can't get in any trouble anymore because there's the fun places that I used to go to. I don't think it's there anymore. The Hard Rock closed down there, right, in Vegas? Yeah.
Did it? That would be so depressing.
I think the Hard Rock closed down. Yeah. That was a great hotel.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something else now. I don't know, but that was a great hotel. And they had one of the greatest
my sister is
side parties back in the day.
My sister's a big Hard Rock, like wherever, like the Hard Rock. If it's wherever, she'll stay at a Hard Rock.
In Tampa's cool.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
It's a little bit outside of Tampa. I went to I've done a lot of things. I went to a white party, like how P. Diddy used to have the white party. I went to a white party in Tampa, and the guy who was hosting it was his. One of the main guys was who was the pass rusher? He played for I can't believe I think he played for Tampa. He was like 6'7". Like he's a famous player. He played for Illinois. Do you remember him? You know what I'm talking about? Like he's not that old. He's I can't. Simeon Rice. There it is. Simeon Rice. You remember him?
I thought he was a Florida State guy.
Played for Tampa. Simeon Rice. I'm pretty sure he was Illinois. Let me see. I'm right. Yeah, I'm right. Illinois. Simeon Rice. I think I don't know how he was involved with it. I went with Shane. It was unbelievable. I think this is back in the NUC days. I think all of us went. Shane was working at NUC, and all of our guys from Jersey were, man, Guy Bertola was there. Guy Bertola was definitely there. Guy Bertola was there. Jersey Juice was there. And if we had him on, Simeon Rice was there. It was his party. Anyway. And it was incredible. It was at the Hard Rock. I was young enough and naive enough not to know what was really going on. And
you were oblivious?
Oh, that's what made it fun.
Okay.
Just young enough and naive enough to not know exactly what's going on. And it was great.
All right.
I was dressed in all white. Can you imagine that?
This is where I wrap up the show before you get out of control.
I look like a buffalo now if I was dressed up in all white. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it was a take on those old P. Diddy parties back in the day. It was fun though. Hard Rock was. Have you been to the one in Tampa? Because you go down there. Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah, they're gorgeous.
Gorgeous. So anyway. I like the all-you-can-eat thing. I have to say, even back then, I was slim. I like the all-you-can-eat. I think that was one of my.
I wonder if people will continue with that outlook going forward now with all this stuff.
What do you mean, the all-you-can-eat or
all that kind of stuff? Like, like if there's like buffets or any of that type of stuff, I wonder how hard that's going to get hit going forward.
That's a good point. That was honestly
because that's like some people's
as good as the party was. Like it was great seeing everything. The food was so good.
Right.
I remember. I was like, we can eat anything.
I mean, obviously it tastes better at that point, but I'm just saying, like, like moving forward, that's something for people to worry about.
Yeah. The last buffet I went to, you ready? Coaches Convention, Atlantic City. Last year, that was like what, a week before or 2 weeks before they had the, what was that? Was that Glazier?
Oh!
Glazier. What?
Breaking news.
What? Well, we got to go after breaking news. Got to go eat. What is it?
Where's the drop? I'm waiting for the drop.
Oh, breaking news. Breaking news. Breaking news.
We got these for a reason.
The producer fails here. Breaking news.
Wow.
Breaking news. I don't know why I'm not able to.
With the coaching carousel.
Breaking news. All right, here we go. Here's the drop. It's coming. Breaking news.
Football and the kitchen sink.
Some breaking news out of Seattle. The Seahawks have fired offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer. After meeting last night, it was evident there were philosophical differences between Schottenheimer and head coach Pete Carroll, and they are deciding to part ways.
Interesting.
Who wouldn't want to go there and work with Wilson?
I don't think he didn't want to be there.
I just talked about him yesterday, how you can never figure out his offense.
Remember my question where I said, like, I wasn't sure. And, like, I pay attention to the NFL, but not like you do. I pay attention to college.
Wasn't he with Alabama for a while? I'm almost positive he was his OC for a year or two. And there's also lots of talks, and I'll leave you with this. New offensive coordinator for Alabama, Bill O'Brien. That looks to be in the works.
Huh?
Imagine that. I was the head coach of the Texans, and now I'm going to come to be your offensive coordinator.
The Nick Saban Rehab Center. That's what that is over there. He revitalizes your career, man.
Why wouldn't you want to go learn from him?
Actually, maybe rehab may not be the right word. Coaching development. No. Even better.
If they coach,
coaching
because it's not a rehab. You don't go there for
it's like refining. It's like a refinement center. It's like almost like
Yeah, it's like you're getting it's like you're sending your car in to get detailed.
I said refinement, Troy. No, I said refinement. That's not a bad word.
It's actually kind of a good word.
It's actually a good word. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're it's
It's
not
like you're gonna, hey, look, I'm sending my car to get detailed.
Yeah, I need to get it detailed, clean it out.
You got to think about it. So, yeah, because that's definitely what it is. It's not like a rehab because it's not like you've fallen off the deep end or whatever. Or maybe it's like a it's like a hideout.
I'll go you one better. It's like a continuous improvement center.
Yeah, it's like you're just going and putting work in without anybody knowing. You're behind the scenes.
Yeah, but you're getting better.
You're getting better, but you're not staying still. But you're hiding.
You're not hiding. You're like I mean, training would be too simple of a word for it because it's not training because these guys are already good. But it's like enhancement. It's even better. Maybe like enhancement. Coaching enhancement.
Nick Saban's Enhancement Center.
Come to the Coaching Enhancement Institute at Alabama. The Coaching Enhancement
Giant Denny Stadium.
I'd love to get an internship at that Coaching Enhancement Institute.
I will. Yes.
I wouldn't mind. I bet you people are. I bet you he gets thousands of emails of guys trying to get in there.
And don't care what you want me to do.
Do whatever you want me to do. It's coaching. See, coaching.
You saw the video of the guy running on the field to get the kickoff tee.
The Coaching Enhancement Institute. The Nick Saban's Coaching Enhancement Institute, where you too can learn how to become a championship coach. Not just a championship coach.
Right.
Potentially a legend. We don't Nick Saban's Coaching Enhancement Institute. We don't build champions. We build legends. They go beyond the champion aspect of it all. All right, I'm out of here.
All right, buddy.
We'll see you tomorrow. Great job, and let's get our outro going. I almost forgot again. The best part of the day is listening to this great drop.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Football and the Kitchen Sink with Coach Schuman and Coach DePascali. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. If you like what you heard, leave us a review and be sure to tell a friend. We will meet you back here next time on Football and the Kitchen Sink.
That's it, man. We'll see
you. All right. Another one in the books.
Later, Gator.
Later.